Okay, the sound's gonna happen for a while. So we're looking at my ugly face. My head's not bleeding right now, but the scab that's mostly healed right here, and there's a scab like back here. That we keep picking out and hoping bleeds. And then we're gonna pop and eat. Because we're bored. And we do need not drink water. It does indeed hurt our throats, so hopefully we do sound deeper. Oh, I also learned I could purr. Mostly because I'm really ill. But I can purr. It's like the same noise as grunting and like humming. It's a little bit different because when humans hum and cats purr, they sound a little bit similar, but they're not the same. I probably can't make it now because I'm a little bit better, but I don't know. Now we're gonna focus on being distracted by that. Okay, now the BS my dad got me. Hopefully this sound stops. It's gonna keep happening though because it happens every couple minutes, so it's just gonna be great. And I kept petting myself. Another reason I was thinking that as a pet. That's a different video, but who cares? I learned that I like head petting. Because human positive affection towards animals. I understand that. I'm like, that is real love and affection. And that has never hurt anyone or anything. So you can treat the same people the same as you do with animals. If you actually take care of animals and you love animals, then obviously you can treat them the same way. You can pet them, you can compliment them, you can call them good boy, good girl. You can feed them, you can take care of them, you can house them, you can help them, you can teach them things. You can play with them, you can get them toys, you can get them cute outfits, you can get them treats. Except you don't, unless it's a baby, then you don't have to deal with all the, hopefully less screaming and less crying, and you just don't have to deal with changing their diaper and dealing with all their poop and pee all day. If you're a baby, then that's the same. But, yeah. Oh, you're not dealing with kids. I think I made a video like that. Oh, my phone fell. That's great. I don't care anymore. Whatever. Okay, no. Not issues like normal. So what my dad taught me. Because my dad ingrained in my head, he's like, trans people aren't real and all that BS. And then he just kept talking about how, gay men weren't real men and how they were sissies and shit. And he also kept talking trash to my mom because he's like, you grew up in the city. She grew up in Nebraska. How was that? That is a city. And you grew up in, like, Fort Wayne on a farm. Fort Wayne is a city, you idiot. I hate him right now. That's fine, I normally hate him. Only times I'm, like, angry that he's not alive and not around, because I'm like, you should have fixed your stupid shit and gotten rid of it. This is what the stupid shit you were supposed to do when you were alive, so I don't have to fucking deal with it. Yeah, but he didn't. So I have to deal with all this shit, and it's great. Motherfucker. Okay, and then we kept having dreams that he came back from the dead and that he faked it and shit. And they came back to torture me. It was great. And it really doesn't help because my reality is whatever fucking hurts me the most and stresses me out mentally and physically. Whatever causes me the most physical pain. And you're like, oh, because everyone's like the whole trick of pinching yourself to see if it's a dream or what. Yeah, that doesn't work. I feel pain in my dreams. All the time. And if I have a nightmare, then I believe the nightmare was real and the reality is fake. And whatever happening in my head is real and not what is outside. Because whatever is traumatizing and most stressful and causes me the most pain is reality. It's something you don't want to deal with, and when you don't do things, it causes you pain. And when you do what you want, you can't do what you want. So you're just always fucked. It's great. There's no happiness in the real world. It's just great. And if there is, there's only a tiny bit. We're trying to find things that make us happy. It's not working. Whatever. Okay. I don't really know. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's why I didn't really get non-binary thing, and I still don't get it, because I'm like, guys wearing drag queen or people cross-dressing doesn't change their sex or their gender unless they actually say that they identify as something else. Then that obviously changes it. Because they keep teaching and they keep preaching that there's something else, and so they convince you that they're a different gender and everything like that. Especially if they don't change their mind and they stick to it, and no matter what people throw at them, and usually believe them after it's like they've been solid about their identity, and there's obviously been opposing sides to it, and no matter the doubt and everything, it hasn't changed after like a year. You usually probably want to wait over a year, but yeah. And also for the whole surgery thing, you have to at least know for over a year. And you have to get like a psych eval and everything. I have to get an updated psych eval basically. Yeah, we're gonna be great. Because functioning is happening. Yeah, no, it's not. We called a bunch of doctors. How functional? Because we didn't move out of our bed 1 inch. Yeah, we didn't move our bed. It's a little colder, so we're liking it, but then keep heating up and becoming freezing again every 5 minutes. And every time I left my bed, it was colder yesterday. Because every time I only move, and I only leave the bed because I get really hot because I have to pee or poop or go to the bathroom, you know? Bathroom crap. So I get really warm, and then afterwards I get freezing cold, and I'm just freezing, even though I'm wearing long sleeve t-shirt and thick ass sweater. Oh no, sweatpants. Really thick pants that are making me hot, but I know if I ever try to take them off, I would be freezing, and I'll probably be freezing in 5 minutes, so they have to stay on. We'll just move a little bit, and it causes a little bit of air, and I'll feel better. I feel better now. Okay. Overheating problems up. Being erect like normal. No, but yeah, my dad was always like, oh, like, city kids can't handle anything. And how they were always sissies, and they couldn't take anything, and how my mom was less brave and less strong and less talented, all because she lived in the city, because she didn't grow up on a farm like him. It didn't make any sense, especially since they traveled to like other countries and shit, and they went to, because they decided to be missionaries and that BS bullshit, so they needed to preach hypocrisy everywhere. It was great, because I mean, the whole missionary thing is BS. Because you travel somewhere, and you're telling them that whatever they believe is wrong. And you're also like, God loves you, but apparently your religion and everything about you is wrong, and you have to change according to my laws and to what the Bible says, and what I teach you. And everything about your culture, and everything about you, and everything you believe in is false, and it's not real, and it's all fake, and it's trash. And I'm just going to keep preaching at you and telling you the BS I was taught. Because if you actually cared about them, and you loved them, then you would just accept them as they were, and you would just learn about their culture and be like, hey, maybe this isn't so positive, maybe we could work on this and fix this. It seems like a problem in your group and in your country, in your little tribe, and that crap. And they were also always like, oh, they're unfortunate. No. I was talking about starving kids in Africa. I was like, yep, I'm starving right here. I don't see the difference. I felt guilty about everything. I still feel guilty about eating. So, great. Thanks. Okay, no, yeah, but he kept just ingrained in me that trans people weren't real, and that, gay people weren't real either, and that they were sissies, and that gay men were trying to be women, and that they were second class and lower than second class citizens, and that we should all just kill them all and send them to Antarctica and all that crap. And it's great. Thanks. Yeah. And just over and over again about how they're going to hell. Yeah, okay, so, I don't get the gender fluid thing or the non-binary thing, and I don't think I ever will. I'll get a little bit better at it, understanding it, but it won't work, because I'm like, because masculinity and femininity is a spectrum. You can be anywhere. You can dress super masculine and still be a girl or a boy, dressing or presenting or looking more boyish or girly doesn't change or affect your gender. And it doesn't change your sex. It doesn't do any of that. Your sex and your gender is separate from how you present yourself. Obviously, people are gonna call you with whatever they think you look closest to, whatever gender they think you look closest to. More people are asking, but even if you're asking, and even if you are non-binary or trans or whatever, you're still gonna look at people and then assume things. You might assume that they're like non-binary like you, but that might not be true, and it's just confusing. It's a mess. Lesbians can look super girly, and lesbians can a lot of times pass and look and be mistaken for dudes, and dress super boyishly and act like a dude, and not be a dude and not identify as a dude, and not want to change their sex at all. And that's the same for gay people. And then trans people actually do want to change their sex and their gender. And not just what clothes they wear and what makeup they wear. And then after you're like, oh, I want to change this, then you have to be like, hey, I have to accept, oh, maybe there are some things that are more feminine and more masculine. I need to experiment and figure out my comfort level, especially after you're passing as whatever you identify as. And you're like, hey, okay, I'm okay with this. I was like super against it. It wasn't okay before because I was struggling to be accepted and just be happy with myself. But then when I overcame that and found more people who were accepting and who loved me, then I realized, oh, I actually like things that are stereotypically more female and stuff like that. Yeah. And the straight guys can do drag. They don't have to be gay. They don't have to identify as a different gender or a different sex or anything like that. They really don't. Yeah, so I had to deal with all that shit to overcome, so we're just not gonna get it, because I'm like, you're just dressing differently, and that's it. You want to call yourself something else? Cool. I don't really see how that's any different than anything I've seen before. I don't know why I have to call it a different gender, because people who don't want to change their gender already do all of this. All of the things you're doing, they already do it. So it's just not clicking. I'm understanding a little bit more, but I also don't have anyone to like teach me or anyone who's been around, and so I'm like, it doesn't apply to me, so I'm not really that interested into trying to understand it. And I also know that I'm only going to understand it a little bit more. I know a little bit makes a large difference, but it's not going to improve that much. So, it just doesn't work for me. Okay. Yeah. Max is still trying to figure out how masculine and feminine is comfortable with being. And then I've mostly figured out my comfort level. Yeah. No, like, skirts or dresses. They're like, yeah, I was given a dress or whatever, but I don't wear that outside or anything like that. And I usually wear a shirt. If I'm out of my room, and I'm not, like, just on a trip to the bathroom and back, and there are people around, I wear shorts and pants underneath the dress. So then it's a shirt. It's just a really awkward long shirt. And it's really soft and warm. That's it. It's just a warm, soft shirt, and I don't care. And I'm like, I'm just wearing a shirt and boxers, and it's what I usually try and wear anymore anyway. But people always want me to put pants on, so if I know that people are awake when I'm awake, then we put pants on, but almost no one's awake when I'm awake, so I don't have to deal with it. Especially since I'm like, why would I wear pants? I have to pee and then go right back to bed. No one's gonna see me. There's no issues. Okay, yeah. But I would never buy or wear where other people could see in a dress or a skirt or like anything else. What is it? Puff sleeves, frilly. I never liked sparkles. No sequins. Wasn't really that into them. I thought they were cool when they changed. Then there was like a heart and then a peace sign on the other one. And I just played with it a little bit in the store, and that was it. We got over it fast. It wasn't that interesting. After a few times, we're like, nope, we're done. Yeah. But we still like nail polish, and we also have to really use it to help protect our skin and help us pick it a little bit less. Yeah. And then makeup covers our mess on our face and our flaws. And we keep forgetting and not buying liquid foundation. I should put it on a list sometime. I'm too lazy. Probably not gonna happen. And I'm like, I don't see people, and the people I see at work, and I'm like, the whole like nature society and just society doesn't make any sense, because I'm like, when are you in society? They're like, you're in society when you go to work. No, not really. When you go to school? No, not really. When you're out in public? No, not really. I was like, I don't interact with any of those people. Rarely ever interact with any of them. There's no interaction. There's no society. Well, I wasn't really influenced. Yeah, because I didn't interact with people. Like, people just attacked me with insults, so we learned not to interact with them. Because less interactions means less pain. It's great. Plus, it's super, super stressful. And my sister was always complaining and being like, you're always pissed whenever I talk to you and all this crap. And I was like, when we don't talk, I'm no longer angry. And we had a text message. She's like, and I told her this. And she's like, why is you angry all the time when you interact with people? You have to fix this. You have to work on this. And I said, I'm pretty sure I'm just stressed. And she's like, well, then you're stressed and not angry. I'm like, stress turns into anger. Where do you think it comes from? And I don't know I'm stressed. And then I'm pissed when I learned I'm stressed. because I don't want to be stressed. And then I get stressed about that. I'm never not stressed. I'm normally always stressed anyway. So anything else, anything I see or that I can focus on or that I look at will cause me immediate stress. Thanks. I'm just super stressed out having a random conversation. Running my dad as always, you know. That's great. But yeah. Cross-dressing and wearing drag doesn't make you a woman or gay. Sexuality is sexuality and gender, and your sex is all different than just clothes and makeup. We just associate clothes and makeup with certain genders because of stereotypes and because of crap we were taught. We don't have to let go of that completely. We just need to accept that, hey, people can wear whatever they want, and that doesn't change their gender and sex unless they decide for themselves that it changes their gender and sex. And then also, like, you're like gender and sex, especially your sex doesn't really change. I have this before, because you're like, oh, what defines your gender? That's 100% whatever the hell you define yourself as. Whatever the hell you pick is your gender. Because you decide that. Because it's how you present and how you look. Because that's what everyone has decided. And that's how society works, I guess. I don't fucking know about society. I never interact with people. I never have, and I've lived in a small town. I don't go to the same churches and everything. And I only have churches, so there's nothing there. Okay, so that's all the BS. We just learned a whole lot of BS, and then in a church, and they're all like, we're accepting, but you're all going to hell. We're like, that's not acceptance, you're all just trying to change us. Or they're like, oh, you won't go to hell unless you just stay single and celibate and just abstinent for your entire life. That's not a life. No affection, no human interactions, it's not a life. I'm not really planning to have a life, so I'm okay with that right now. That all that matters is if we're negative. Or I think they're negative, and even if they're not negative, we get super stressed about it. At the beginning, and middle, the entire process, extremely stressful. And that's why every time after therapy, even though we're like, it's going to go well, everything's fine, we just pass out immediately once we get home. Because all of our energy is drained. Because we're just suppressing all of our stress and all of our issues. Like normal. Because we've only learned how to distract ourselves or express a little bit through writing, and then we're never alone. There's always you around or in the same house and crap like that. So you can't make a sound when you're crying, and you try and cry as little as possible. And I would always spend hours just crying, and once I start crying, I'm never going to stop because I always just want to cry. So, and then you're like, if I'm crying all the time, I can't get anything done, I can't do anything, and I'm just going to be a fucking wreck all the time. You are emotionally and inside, but you just no longer show it as much as possible. But obviously you still explode and you still crack, especially when you're sick. Then you're like, yep, tears just rain down. And then also, you're like, oh, I can still cry and everything, because you're like, oh, normal, like, sad things or whatever, don't care about that. But if a fictional, like, character, not a character. Sometimes a character. If the character is a dragon, sometimes a cat or a lesser animal, most of the time it's usually a fantasy creature. I don't really care about those. Dragon or some demi-human, so you're part animal, then I will cry and bawl my eyes out and get super pissed at you. Pissed at everyone because they were the only thing I cared about. The only things I like. My favorite characters are never human. Sometimes I like some humans, but it's usually only because they're super fucked up, or they're not fully human. Or then they no longer are being human because they're doing impossible, unhuman things. Which are like god level crap like that. Well, I also like, I don't really get it. And like a lot of animes and stuff like that, they're all hiding their powers and they're all like human and everything. And I'm like, if you have this much power and you're really OP, you're not human anymore. Because no other human can do this, and it's not possible for them to reach your level. And they're like, you were blessed for the gods. No, you are like a demigod. You are a god now. You're just not human, okay? Because human means you have flaws, and you have all the limitations, and you follow the rules. The rules are BS anyway, so I agree, but you're no longer human. And the rules are overrated. Why you're also not human, because you do not follow the rules. You do not follow the laws. You defy all the laws of nature and everything else. You defy the universe. It's by the gods. Oh, crap. What is happening again? I keep sweating. I'm super stressed. I just shower, but I'm gonna die in a bed anyway. It's not like I could actually be standing up for that long. Yeah, great. And it's not like I ever have any energy, and we're always just crashed out and stoned almost the entire time. Asleep. And then the rest on our phone. Because it's the only thing that makes us happy. Okay. I'm depressed like normal. Yeah. So we had to learn all the BS my dad taught me. Yeah. It's also like, oh, real men don't cry, men don't feel pain, they don't do anything, you know. They tough it out, and they're superior in strength, and they're superior in everything. Yeah, the more I think of it, I'm like, yeah, you're just a narcissist, aren't you? And then I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And I didn't think you were a narcissist because I just believed that all men were the same and that they were all just narcissists and we all just blamed it as confidence, and we all just believed that you were God level and you could do nothing wrong because that we were taught. So, yeah, you had to be a narcissist because you were like, oh, but he did, like, nice things to you. He gave you pets and things like that. Yeah, he gave us cats that he also wanted and liked. Yeah, he only really got them for himself. About horses, yeah, we liked horses and everything, but my dad always dreamed of having horses, and he always wanted horses. And I always knew that he never loved us, and he only had us for labor. Yeah, we were just tools to labor. We were free labor, always. And then he'd even take us on jobs and to help neighbors, and go to Fort Wayne a lot, and clean up garbage, and mow their properties, and all of this crap. I really didn't like it, because we were picking up piss bottles, so we didn't have any gloves or anything. Great. We didn't have any anything sanitary or anything clean or anything. We just had trash bags that we'd pick up with our bare hands. Yeah. So, and then after we spent hours and hours cleaning, we spent the whole day in Fort Wayne cleaning. We'd then hopefully wash our hands, maybe get something to eat, and then maybe get $20. But most of the time not. And then even if we got $20, then he held it for safekeeping. So we never actually saw any of the money. So that's great. So that's when, like, on therapists and everything, they're like, oh, did you not, like, compensated for work? And I always wanted to check yes, but I was like, it doesn't count when your own father is doing it to you, and he's the one who said he would do the job, and then he just made you do it. Made you do all the work and everything. But he gets all the money because he took you there, and maybe fed you a little bit. Never enough to be full. And then took you back home. Yeah. And it was only maybe $20 back then for a full tank. And didn't use a full tank for that journey. And that was still when he was in his truck and everything. So you're like, yeah, you used more gas for your truck, but it still wasn't full tank. It was absolute trash. Even though Fort Wayne is an hour away, it still wasn't enough. So, and you're like, oh, that's just $20. Exactly. That's after, like, 2 trips or whatever. So, it's not like it even made any sense. And then we were obviously always had to do everything, clean the house, spotless and everything, and clean the house, mow lawns, mow our own lawn, do all the gardening, take care of all the animals, yeah, keep up with the mail, keep up with our homework, all that trash. Probably also help make dinner or something, or find our own things to eat, because it wasn't edible. And then I could almost never eat most of the food anyway, and then I was forced to eat it even though I spent the entire time gagging. And everyone just called me fake, and they said, oh, you can still eat it, stop faking the entire time, and then they force-fed me. It's great. Love food, you know? Great. And it's not like it had any flavor anyway, because we're white, so we didn't know anything about spice. And like, spice is salt. Yeah, so we add a ton of salt, and then later we learned pepper. So a ton of salt and pepper, and you're like, it's too salty, but then you're like, that's good, because then all you can taste is the salt. And that's all that matters. You taste salt, and you just inhale as much salt as possible, and try and drink a lot of water, so you can go out into the burning hot sun and get another sunburn. Because no one ever applies sunscreen, or reminds you to put it on, or uses it. So everyone's just sunburned all the time. And then you gotta peel, and then you still have to do it after getting sunburned. You still have to go back under the sun and get more sunburn. Great. So, just complaining about Dad, like normal. And we always knew he loved the animals more. We knew. He spent all his time with them, and he hated us. Yeah. We exist solely for free labor. I always knew that. And I learned as I grew older, and I actually saw the stimulus checks. I was like, yeah, this is BS. You are paid by the government to keep me. You were getting paid for my existence, and then you got free labor on top of that? Yeah, no. Your father didn't get paid for having you. You didn't get anything. Your dad got free labor, but he didn't get paid for having you. So your free labor just paid off the expenses that he had to use to raise you. The government already covered that. And then you also used basically all of it anyway. He gave me a little bit of savings, but it wasn't really anything. Because they had 18 years stimulus checks that were all like 4,000 or more. Yeah. I think we got maybe 5,000 in our bank account, so we got like one stimulus check. Thanks. But they were like, oh, we were putting it in before, and then you would always dip into our accounts and use it. And that was per kid. And that was every month. Or almost every month. Thanks. Thanks for that. And then we were always sent out to play and everything, especially when we were always forced to clean, and they were always talking about how people were coming over and how they guessed. Yeah, they were probably a bunch of social workers and crap. And it's not like we didn't see the police come around a lot. So, but never got in trouble for anything. So there's nothing we could do. They're like, your children are alive. That's all that matters. Now they're trying to kick us out of the house and not feed us and shit. So, not under for life. You know, screaming at us and hitting us. So, love our lives. Our lives shit. Fuck it. We'll never be able to interact with people. It's fine. We'll have issues forever, and we'll never not be on medications and not go to therapy. And never not have issues and never not hate ourselves just a little bit. Hopefully it just becomes a little bit. And then with the surgery and the hormones and the name change and everything I've already done before, that all adds up to a lot. Little bits keep adding together and they makes a lot. So it'll be bigger than the depression finally. Not there yet. We also haven't found the right medications and haven't been talking to our counselor as much as we should have. Yeah. Hopefully we can get some breakthroughs. Not happening right now, but yeah. Being a wreck like normal. Bye.